Mind Your Subconscious is the podcast that provides you with techniques and knowledge about your subconscious mind, the part of your brain that lets you control your ego and create an extraordinary reality with your thoughts. We invite meditation, hypnosis, NLP, EFT, and other experts to help you master the most powerful part of your brain. Your host is Jennifer Schlüter, who quit her job as managing editor of 22 newspapers to travel the world and work online just after one hypnosis session. A nomad ever since 2016, Jennifer is now a certified hypnotist and helps people transform their dreams into reality. Hey, Indira.
Hi, how are you, Jennifer?
Good, how are you? Thank you for being here with us on the podcast.
It's my pleasure. I'm so glad to be here. So my name is Indira Dejtiar, and I am a clinical hypnotherapist, an NLP practitioner, among other things. But my relationship to hypnosis was actually on a personal level. I used it as a form of therapy, and that was years ago. In what I know now as a clinical hypnotherapist was the Krasner method. So I went through a year-long hypnosis therapy in conjunction with art therapy. And I used that to overcome a lot of childhood trauma in preparation to becoming a mother. So I basically wanted to get rid of all that baggage before I entered the new phase of my life. I definitely didn't want my unborn child to have to be dealing with his mother's baggage. And it was absolutely transformational.
That is really, really beautiful to hear because as we've been hearing in this podcast, but also as I've been putting out there a lot on social media, your subconscious mind, children live with their subconscious minds, and it's so important what you say. You can say one little wrong sentence and children will carry it with the rest of for the rest of their life. And sometimes they will know about it, sometimes they will not, and they will never figure out why they have the problem and why they continue to have the problem. So how did you know that this was going to help you get rid of the baggage? How did you get into hypnosis and the art therapy then?
So I have always been a spiritual seeker and personal development and just a voracious reader. And I had followed the work of Dr. Brian Weiss, who had done past life regression therapy. And that's not something I delved into, but with the Krasner method, what we did was a form of inner child work therapy. So it was being able to take me back to the place as a child and give myself permission to forgive myself. I know that during that time, there was also messages that he gave me as a child. So I can tell you that every time through each therapy, I felt better and better and better every single time that we did. And we spaced it out. So it's not like I was doing it every week. We would do one hypnotherapy every 4 weeks. And we did that for the course of a year. And like I said, it was definitely the first solid, real life-changing form of therapy that I ever had. Your subconscious mind is the most powerful tool that we have. So I'm very grateful that I was exposed to it. And yeah, it came from literature. The good thing about it is that I was a believer. I didn't go into it thinking that I couldn't be hypnotized. It was something that I wanted so badly that it came very natural to me. I know that there are some people that they think they can't be hypnotized. I was not one of those people. So I was very lucky in that sense.
And so if you don't mind sharing with us, what's a problem or what's one kind of baggage that you got rid of with hypnotherapy and with the art therapy that you did?
So I suffered abused as a child, and what the biggest thing that I got from that was being able to forgive not just my father, but forgive myself too, which is something I didn't even know. I wasn't aware that even though I was a child, there was a lot of blame that I had placed on myself. And through that, I was able to really genuinely not only forgive my father, which was a huge step for me, but also forgive myself, the child that I was, and come to the realization that it really wasn't my fault. And that was extremely powerful. It was literally like a baggage had been lifted off my shoulders, and I knew it was really important for me to be able to do this before I had a child, because a lot of the literature that I had read was if you didn't deal with the kind of trauma that I suffered, it would be a trigger as I became pregnant, as I gave birth. And so I was very intentional in the work that I wanted to do.
Yeah, and I've had this experience actually several times as well with forgiving somebody, but also having to forgive myself several times, because I had to, the first time that I learned this, it was about one of my exes who had always cheated on me. And this woman told me, she was like, you have to write a letter to forgive him, but also to forgive yourself. And to me, since then, I recommend this to every single person that has ever had any problems with anybody, with maybe with their dad, with their friend, with their boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever. That's the most powerful thing also that I've learned. It's really incredible. So yeah. And how was the first hypnosis session for you? Did you feel any change already, or did it take a while?
I would say that the first hypnosis, what's funny is that the session lasted about 45 minutes, but to me it lasted like 5. And I literally had to look at the clock, and because he was like, we've been doing this for about 45 minutes. I'm like, wait, what? And I was like, oh, he really is not kidding. I mean, so I think in the sense from the very beginning, I started feeling lighter. But more than just what I was feeling, my husband at the time was the one who said, it's incredible. What hypnotherapy has done for you is incredible. Whatever you're doing, it's working. Because it wasn't just having to forgive myself. It was the other things, the underlying things, my temperament changed. In general, I became lighter. Not just emotionally, even physically, I became lighter. So yeah. Incredible. I would say yes, from the very first session, I knew that that I had found something that was going to help me for the rest of my life. And it has.
Beautiful. So now that you know how hypnosis works as well for yourself, do you do it on yourself? Do you make yourself recordings? Do you hypnotize yourself?
I do. And I do it more for like confidence. Because my goal is to become a public speaker. So I've been doing a lot of like resource anchorings for confidence and things like that. But I hypnotized my partner, and she's the ideal person because she's I don't get hypnotized, and just, so it's the ideal person to practice on, because if you can hypnotize her, you pretty much can hypnotize anyone. So I've done a lot of work on her, and it's gotten to the point where she has fully now have been able to go deep, deep, deep in her subconscious mind. So it's been wonderful.
Beautiful. So do you have children now?
I do.
Yeah. And can you tell us is there ever a moment when you're interacting with your children where you think, oh yeah, that was hypnotherapy. Thank God I didn't say that, or thank God I didn't do that. Like, before hypnotherapy, I would have reacted in a different way.
Oh, 100%. Definitely what it's made me very mindful is my speech, because I know that on a subconscious level that could, set roots in there. So yeah, absolutely. the kind of work that I did with hypnotherapy though was not superficial light work. It wasn't like I was trying to quit smoking or lose weight. It was deep rooted seeds of trauma. So what you gain from that is the knowledge that your words are very important, and you have to be very mindful of them. And we're as parents, there's going to be times that we're human, so we slip. But it goes back to being able to forgive yourself. And basically the best thing that I got from hypnosis was having the inner child speaking, having a dialogue with the inner child, and giving space to the subconscious mind, and knowing that there's so much more that we are capable of our abilities that we just can't possibly imagine. And now, as a clinical hypnotherapist, I've delved into Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he is, it's phenomenal the work that he's doing, because people are healing themselves, not just from an emotional perspective, which is what it was for me, but from a physical perspective. So I think it's one of the most powerful tools that we have.
Yes. I want to recommend everybody that is listening right now to really, really look into Joe Dispenza, what he's doing, look up a video, look up one of his books. It's absolutely incredible. And you will really understand yourself on a new level. Yes. And the powers that you have. It's really beautiful. So, and then with your kids, do you sometimes use any type of NLP, any type of hypnosis when you, when you're raising them?
So in terms of NLP, what we use is the language patterns. So you know how people, they don't realize that what they focus on, they say they want something, but really what they focus on is what they don't want. So I'll give you a perfect example. Our daughter was having nightmares, and she kept saying, I don't want to have a nightmare. I don't want to have a nightmare. And it was, okay, what do you want? I want to be able to sleep throughout the night. It was just that shift of words, because we get so caught up in what we don't want. We don't realize that our brains don't process negative. So what we're really saying is, I want to have nightmares. So yeah, definitely the language patterns. I'm constantly, don't tell me what you don't want. Tell me what you want. Focus on what you want. That's what I want to hear. So I'm really excited to actually, when they become teenagers, to use a lot of more of these modalities, for sure. Once they grasp it a little more. They're only 7.5. I'm not sure that they're able yet to grasp hypnosis in the sense of actually having an actual session with them. But there are modalities that through NLP certification, like times technique, that you can definitely really use with them. Like anchoring. I'm not sure. Do you know about the resource anchoring?
Yes. And but we can explain it here because there are some listeners who probably don't know. So please go ahead.
Okay, so resource anchoring is a powerful, powerful tool. I have mine here in my knuckle, and it's basically everything that you feel is just a state. So when people say, I want to be hypnotized to feel confident, what they don't realize is that confidence is really just a state, and everyone has felt confident at one point or another. So for me, I feel very confident when I dance. There's nothing that I am more confident in than when I'm on a dance floor dancing. So what I do is I get into that stage and I literally dance. And once I feel and I'm at that height of that confidence, I just touch whatever space, whether it's your ear or your knuckle. I have my anchors in my knuckle, and I just anchor that until I feel it. And I have a few anchors in my knuckle. I have like happy and gratitude and confidence. And then when I find myself in a moment where maybe I'm getting annoyed with my kids, I just hit my little resource anchors, and I get right back into that state. That's a powerful tool that I definitely want to teach the kids from a very young age for things just like taking a test and being calm and relaxed and confident that the answers are already there.
Yes, that's a great tool. I love like this generation's, is more and more growing up with these other types of therapies and techniques and all of that. So I'm really excited to see the next generation grow up with all of us, like, getting into NLP, hypnosis, and energy work and whatnot. So it's really cool to see that.
Yes.
So before you started this training, first of all, did you start this training because you became such a big fan of hypnosis and NLP through your therapy?
Yes and no. It's been a long journey. I mean, I did hypnotherapy back in 2008. So, it's been a decade since. I have to say a lot of it was Dr. Joe Dispenza. The work that he's doing is just so amazing to me. It's watching the movie What the Bleep was like completely just blew my mind to think of all the possibilities of, that essentially, where our awareness goes, energy flows, and where energy flows, that's what manifests into our lives. And to really understand that was what led me to NLP, because ultimately what I want to do is just coach. And, now that I'm a practitioner, to be able to coach people, and there's so many people that don't know that these tools exist, that you can really design the life that you want. So, Dr. Joe says that a new personality creates a new reality. And that's my goal in life, to, help people create a new personality and design the reality that they want.
Have you been to one of his retreats or something?
Not yet.
But we're putting it out there, right? We're like, okay.
Oh, absolutely. To be honest with you, that's the first. Before I went to become an NLP practitioner, I reached out to him first. But to be certified by him there's all these levels. You have to have read all his books, which I have, that's okay. But you've had to attended like 4 workshops and done a week. Like there's a whole process, but I'm excited because I know it's inevitable. It's definitely in my cards.
Nice. Beautiful. Okay. So then what have you been doing before NLP and hypnosis?
So before NLP and hypnosis professionally, or?
Yeah, or just before, like also when you got into the therapy, like, yeah, what was your previous work? I want to find out if it was different or if it was also along the lines of spiritual or coaching or whatever.
Not at all. Not at all. I was in real estate. I have been in real estate since 2003. And most recently, I was actually in commercial real estate in a very corporate environment, which I hated every minute of it. It was the corporate job that people aspire to have, the great salary, the great benefits. But it was literally soul, just not inspired work. And I basically quit without knowing what I was going to do, just knowing that I was going to take a risk, which I did. And I knew that I wanted to work from home. I knew that I wanted to help people, and I wasn't sure how that was going to manifest, but I was going to give it a shot. And really what started happening is I started getting a lot of online work. So I actually work for a therapist now. So as I'm building up my own practice, I got my certification 2 weeks ago. I work for a therapist right now. She's a sex therapist, but still I'm seeing the impact that she's doing for women and the world at large, really, with her work. And so she's a wonderful mentor. And it's giving me a good platform as to the direction that I want with my own practice.
Okay, so congratulations to the certification first. And then what are you learning from her? Do you want to go into her direction, or which direction do you want to go into?
No. So my business is the Lifestyle Architects, and it's just that, because like I said, I believe that we have the ability and all the tools to create the lifestyle that we want. And what I want to do is these modalities that I've learned, hypnosis, NLP, time technique, EFT, energy freedom techniques, you know, the tapping, those are the modalities that I want to use to be able to help people architect the life that they want, which is just really, it's just a mindset away.
And it's a blessing to know that, you know, like once you have that mindset, I can architect my lifestyle the way that I want to, then it'll just come to you and it'll just flow to you. And it's amazing. Like, you don't have to be in that 9-to-5 job. You don't have to do something you don't want to do. You don't have to be unhappy. You don't have to do something that everybody else is doing. You can really design your own life. That's also what I'm about. And that's, I want to help people with the same thing. It's just beautiful. And it's beautiful to see when people are like, oh, or when they break through, you know, when they have these breakthroughs. It's really nice.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm living right now, what I manifested months ago, you know, wanting to hit a certain target with clients, working from home, having the independence. The other day I caught myself and I was like, wait a minute, I'm living exactly what I wrote down. This is exactly what I want, except now it's shifted a little, because now I want to be a full entrepreneur and be using my modalities and having clients in a different way. So it's so exciting to be on this journey.
Beautiful. I love hearing about that. That's awesome. Okay, so what's next and when are you starting your business? Do you have like
I'm in the process.
That date? Okay, you're in the process, but there's no date, like a launch date or something?
I mean, there isn't, but you know, our website is up. I'm still working on copy and trying to figure out, you know, the programs and the offers. And honestly, I'm setting my date as June 15th, just because it's like, why not? You know, let's just put something out there. One of the things that we learned is that people get frozen by not taking action. They want things to be perfect. And it's just like, just do it. Take action. There is no such thing as failure. It's only feedback. So we get paralyzed by the fear of failure. If we just shift our mindset and realize that failure is nothing but feedback, you just learn, go back to the drawing board and then try again, then that helps us to not be so paralyzed, to just take action.
And setting yourself a deadline, like the one that you have, June 15th, done, and that's it. Like, you're going to work a lot harder once you have that deadline.
Yes.
You're going to work 3 times, 4 times, 5 times as hard.
Yeah. So that's something that you actually learn with time techniques. You know, you set a goal and you envision, what are you going to do the day that you accomplish that goal? What are you going to be listening to? What are you going to see? What are you going to hear? And really put yourself in that state so that in the quantum field, it's already there.
Ah, beautiful. I love talking about this. So how did you find out about Joe Dispenza then first, if he started your journey?
What the Bleep, the movie, the documentary, What the Bleep. That was like fundamentally learned about Bruce Lipton and Dr. Joe. But Dr. Joe, I don't know why, like his message, just the idea that there are people that were deaf or blind or had MS and walked after not walking. The fact that he cured himself, you know, that he was supposed to be paralyzed and vertebrae by vertebrae, he healed himself. That was, to me, it's, you know, we don't realize the power that is within us. We just don't realize how powerful we are, how powerful our mind is, how powerful our thoughts are. So yeah, then I just started devouring his books. Actually, during my NLP training, I finished the last of his books, which is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Yes. Highly recommend to all your listeners, Dr. Joe Dispenza.
I second that.
Yes.
I'm also reading that right now. I second that, definitely. It's
wonderful. Yeah, and his meditations are really just, it's hypnosis. he calls it guided meditation, but I mean, the induction is there, the entire process, it's really a hypnosis session that you're going through.
Yeah, let's clear that up real quick, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
people who are asking about the difference between meditation and hypnosis. So real quick, a guided meditation is basically the same as a hypnosis, but hypnosis has a purpose most of the time. If you want to work on something like you did with your childhood issues, if you want to quit smoking, if you want to quit biting your nails or whatever, that is hypnosis. It only has a purpose. And meditation is a much nicer word because nobody's afraid of it or nobody thinks anything crazy of it. So think of hypnosis as a guided meditation.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Joe Dispenza's guided meditation is definitely a hypnosis because it's very intentional with the work that you're doing. And, you know, he's giving you suggestions, very much a hypnosis principle, right? With where we ask our patients beforehand, are there any suggestions that you want us to give you while you're under hypnosis? So yeah, very powerful.
Exactly. And you right now, as a certified practitioner and everything, is there anything you said anything you wouldn't do, anything you just try to stay away from or refer people to other people? Is there any problem too big for you or something, you know, like whatever comes to your mind?
Well, you know, I definitely would always want to check, you know, if a patient is coming to me that for whatever, that it's ecological, right? That, you know, it's safe for themselves, for the world, for the environment, for the practitioner, and for everyone at large. Yeah, I definitely would want to check for that. And of course, you know, if it's any medical conditions that they would need to have a referral from their doctor before I could practice on them. Because I'm new to the field, I think that what I would want to work on right now on focus is on personal development, more so than traumas, for example, which is a trigger word, trauma, right? It's utilized so much, and it can have the context of it can have so much meaning. But I definitely would want to work more on mindset and personal development with hypnosis. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I see. And then is there anything in NLP or hypnosis or whatever that you're struggling with, that you still like have to practice more, something like that you really think like, oh, I need to get my mind around this idea, or no, you're just like totally in love with everything?
I love it. I mean, really, it's once you have that knowledge, once you open that Pandora's box, it's just, you notice things that have always been there that you just never noticed before. Something as simple as knowing if somebody is thinking about something from the past, remembering something, constructing something just based on where their eyes look and sensor acuity. I feel like a kid, you know, like learning something new and wanting to practice. And no, I love it. I love it. I'm fascinated by it all. And I'm excited to see the impact that I can do with these tools.
And also, I wanted to ask you, so I think you're from the US?
Yes. I'm actually from South Florida.
Born and raised?
No, I'm born in Nicaragua, Central America.
Okay.
But I've been in South Florida, South Beach, since I was 4 years old. So this is home.
And are you going back to Nicaragua?
I have gone back to Nicaragua. I've gone back. It's beautiful. Right now it's you know, not the safest place to visit right now. There's a lot of political unrest. But I definitely want to go back. I want to show my family. It's a wonderful, beautiful country.
So the reason I'm asking is the next question is going to be how in the US, how popular, how recognized is hypnosis and NLP, and then also in Nicaragua. We already we're going to, or depending on when this episode is going to come out, we either have somebody talking about it or but I want to see your perspective. Tell me your perspective about in the US, how it is seen, and in Nicaragua, if you know anything.
In the US, people may not realize how popular NLP is because they may not know that Tony Robbins essentially what he does is NLP.
Absolutely.
They may not put the two and two together, but in the United States, NLP is definitely a huge movement. Same thing as hypnosis. And I think in other countries as well. And a large part of that is because of Dr. Joe Dispenza, who has traveled the world educating people on the power of the subconscious mind. Bruce Lipton as well. Nicaragua, I have no clue. I actually have no idea what forms of therapy they use or don't use. I can tell you that it's a very religious Catholic country. So I don't know if that would somehow interfere with these kind of modalities, although it shouldn't, but I wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't know. I would be interested to know though.
Well, now maybe you have a reason to find out.
I know.
Okay, great. Then thank you so much for your time. And thank you so much for telling us about your journey and about your healing. It was very interesting.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And thank you for the work that you're doing and for showcasing hypnosis and, bringing people's attention to such a wonderful tool that can really genuinely change their lives.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
Love this episode of Mind Your Subconscious? Subscribe, rate, and leave a review on whichever platform you're listening. It's very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Catch our next episode every Monday.